When talking about shows that came out in the 2010s, people always like to bring up Adventure Time, Regular Show, Amazing World of Gumball, and these are all great shows. But a show I think is never talked enough about in those conversations would be Motor City. It is a sleeper hit. Motor City was fast, bold, and unapologetically cool. A Disney XD show that burned bright and left an impact long after it was gone. Despite its short run, the High Octane series found a developed fan base and became one of those you know if you know kind of shows. A revolution on wheels, you could say. I know that's corny. Whatever. A dystopian action series about rebellion, car culture, and freedom. But like most good American animation shows, they don't last long. Why? Because Disney XD didn't know what to do with it. Too much for them to handle, I ain't gonna lie to you. Motor City might have crashed, but its story and what it represents deserves a second chance. And that's why we're breaking it down today. So, hey, I'm Remy. I just want to ask, has anyone checked out Motor City? And if not, let's. Disney XD launched in 2009, targeting a very specific demographic. Think middle school boys, high energy content, and just enough edge to feel cool, and a vibe that screamed, please stop watching Cartoon Network, we have cool shows over here guys. It's not just for girls, we promise. Streaming had already started to creep in, and cable TV was losing its grip, and Disney XD was Disney's plan to fight back. It had shows like Tron Uprising, Randy Cunningham, and all these sharp animation with bold, cool concepts. Yet somehow these shows always felt more like experiments rather than properties they wanted to promote. For a lot of people, Disney XD was Disney's versions of Nicktoons, and if you didn't know, shows go to Nicktoons to die. XD always felt like a place for them to pump their weird shows, or for networks just to say, hey, this show didn't test very well, so we're probably going to put it here instead of on the main Disney Channel, indirectly causing the shows to die a long and agonizing death due to low viewership. And unfortunately, Motor City was a part of that lineup, a bold experiment that deserved more. It looked different, felt different, and promised something more. But Disney XD wasn't built for experiments, it was built to do a job and it couldn't do it. Chris Panowski, the mind behind Titmouse, was the visionary behind Motor City. As for the story, a tyrannical corporate overlord named Abraham Cain rules Detroit Deluxe, while his opponents, aka the Burners, a group of underground rebels, fight to keep the spirits of freedom alive. While there are other groups, the one we can't forget to talk about, the most important group, is the Duke's group. The Duke is the best character in Motor City.
Jump back! Get back! Hey! Get back! Get back! Ow! Get back! Ow! Get back! Ow! Say ow! 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 Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Now let me hear you say 1, 2, 3, 4! Talents! Yeah! Sexuality! Pipes!
Okay, actually not, but he's hilarious. I love the Duke. The Duke was so slept on as a frenemy, enemy kind of guy. The Duke was amazing. He deserved better. The Duke deserved better than what Disney XD did to my guy. The visuals were stunning. Thanks to a mix of traditional and digital animation techniques, Motor City was primarily animated using Adobe Flash with a combination of 2D and 3D elements, resulting in a style that felt alive, fast, and unapologetically cool, man. But also, once again, really expensive. Motor City wasn't just a style over substance show. There was some real heart to be found in the show and the writing. And as much as I want to go straight into how amazing the characters were written, I need to talk about the cars first. The cars, man, were some of the coolest and sickest car designs you'd ever seen. I mean, I'm not even a car guy, but look at these, man. If that's not style personified, I don't know what is. And with all that cool style, they still found a way to make the characters even better than the cars. That's some dirty work right there. Love to see it. You have Mike, the leader of the Burners, the way too cool type, but an understanding leader who's 10 toes down for his friends. He drives the sickest looking of the cars, in my opinion, the Mike. He even has a personal relationship with the big bad of the show, aka Cain, which would have been so cool to see fleshed out, but we'll never get that unfortunately. Next you have Julie, the second in command in a sense of the Burners. In hindsight, she may not have actually been second in command of the Burners, but you know what, she was to me, so I'm gonna say she was. That's how this works now. She was the character with the most complicated issues in the show, and she's doing whatever she can to not let those issues hold her back, even if those conflicting ideals have forced her to hide who she is from her father and her found family, the Burners. You got Texas, Big T. Texas is Texas. Yeah, the kind of fun dumb guy. In my opinion, I don't think he was very fleshed out, but from what I got, he was a somewhat lovable idiot, but overall a solid guy. If I ever needed someone to have my back in an undercity ruled by a crazy tech bro, I'd want no one else. And not to mention, I think he has one of the funniest moments in the show before he got canceled.
Well, if it isn't Texas, the greatest martial artist in all of Motorcity, behold, I have a gun that shoots a snake.
Okay, and you're just in time to feel my Texas Twister!
No! Not that!
Curse your awesomeness, Texas!
Next we go okay, that was dumb. Next we got Dutch, the guy who could make the dreams of the team real. He was the mechanic of the crew. I feel like most people know a Dutch. Dutch was that artsy kid that lived in a nice part of town, you know, Detroit Deluxe. But unfortunately, my guy was a creative in a world run by tech bros. It's hard out here, I promise you it is. And Kangco, the people that are running Detroit, decided that his art was too base and they didn't like it, so he left the city for a blue sky under the city, you could say, wishing to continue his interest in art without endangering himself and his family. So with nowhere else in mind to go, he went to Motorcity and made a new family that embraced his artistic style. And last but certainly not least, you had Chuck. Chuck was the man in the chair. Well, actually, to be more specific, he was the man in the passenger seat. Chuck was not a driver. He could, but his strength lied in his intelligence. A desk jockey through and through. His only problem was his desk tended to go over 100 miles per hour any given day, which I gotta admit would probably stress anybody out. But my guy Chuck dug it out, and you gotta respect that. Each member of the Burners brought something really unique to the table. They weren't just fighting against Kane, they were fighting for a better world for everyone who lived under Detroit Deluxe. Everyone who didn't want to conform to the tech bro mentality. Everyone who wanted to be more than an AI artist, pretty much. Anyone who wanted to be more than a cog in the machine with no sense of individuality. That's what the Burners were fighting for the people that wanted more than status quo, who wanted to think outside the box. And the Burners weren't the only interesting faction in the show, as I just mentioned. There's also the Kane people, the Kangco, the big bad. Abraham Kane. Not gonna lie though, that name kind of invokes kind of like intimidation. Abraham, bro, it's just like an imposing name. Like, oh, I wouldn't mess with Abraham. Anyway, an evil overlord type who can't handle rejection or criticism at all. He takes over Detroit, builds Detroit Deluxe on top of old Detroit, and makes life great for everyone who agrees with everything he agrees with, because, you know, he's clearly not a sensitive old man with too much money and time on his hands. He just shows up with his tech bro money, takes over, build on something that was already established and probably running well, and decides he wants to do everything better, probably put a couple X's on things that don't even need a stupid X, and just ruin everything by existing, and somehow he has ruined the letter X. Oh man, I gotta chill, bro. It ain't that deep. He just ruined my favorite app, and it just sucks. Okay, from now on, I'm gonna put Elon Musk's face over Kane just to feel a bit better, you know, for my own sanity. Y'all gonna have to deal with that. Okay. I'm done with the Twitter analogy. The show's themes of freedom versus control weren't just window dressing, nothing light, nothing surface level, they were deep themed. This was a show for kids, but they wanted the kids to think. They wanted to challenge the kids to have a broader perspective on things and not just show flashy lights for no reason. Granted, there were a lot of flashing lights now, I'm not gonna lie to you, them lights were flashing. But they wanted the kids to feel something. But apparently, only things the kids wanted to feel were Pair of Kings, because that seemingly was the only show Disney XD would ever renew. There was like probably 30 seasons of Pair of Kings. Okay, not actually 30 seasons, probably like 3 or something. But still too many. Pair of Kings was not that good. Honestly, it wasn't. And here's where things get a bit annoying. Motorcity wasn't the only ambitious show on Disney XD. We had The Golden Child, Tron Uprising, the big budget sibling that no one asked for. Tron Uprising was supposed to be Disney XD's crowning jewel, a big budget sci-fi franchise, but it flopped hard. So when Tron failed to find an audience, Disney panicked. And instead of doing the reasonable thing about your failing project, Disney panicked and cut its losses. Disney seemed to bail on everything that looked like a risk. Motorcity, despite its potential, became collateral damage by proxy. Okay, so I want to pause real fast, right? Who was Tron Uprising for? I mean, it was a good show, granted, but who was that show's demographic? Because it wasn't me, an early teenager and preteens like me who wanted cool fights and, I don't know, cool character designs and stuff. We didn't get that from Tron. And I'm sure it wasn't for older adult fans who like Tron because they were not watching Disney XD, I can promise you that much. So this brings back my question, who was this supposedly for? I truly hope it wasn't for the Tron Legacy fans because they didn't even show up for the movies, and I knew they weren't going to show up for the TV show. So I don't even understand that. Disney was trying so hard to push Tron to be a thing, it ended up as a John Carter situation. Even more surprisingly, they're still trying to push Tron. Tron comes back this year with the series. I don't know why. Why is Tron getting so many chances to fail? And we couldn't even get more than one season for Motor City. Tron has to have some dirt on the mouse because at this point, man, it doesn't even make sense. Okay, ran over, back to the script. So why was Motor City canceled? Let's break it down. The show was expensive, the ratings were underwhelming, and Disney XD didn't have the patience for a slow burn. With only 20 episodes. Now mind you, they were a very strong 20 episodes, but 20 episodes nonetheless. On November 5th, 2012, it was announced that the show would not be renewed. But here's the frustrating part. You know, this whole cancellation thing, this could have been avoided, I feel like. Here's 3 ways they could have avoided cancellation. It's not on the Motor City Crew's part, it's on Disney XD's part. 1. All they had to do was not move the time slot. If you had tried to watch the show while it was airing, you would have to guess the time because they never promised what time it would be airing, and it always seemed like it was at a different time. They'd have it too early or too late, and it would just leave fans confused on when they wanted to watch the show. Second, they should have fired the guy who decided to show a non-episodic show out of order. There is nothing that makes me more mad than that. Who was the genius that decided it was okay to just do that? I just want to shake your hand. Let me shake your hand real fast, man. Come on, let me do it, please. I remember one day coming home from school, getting done with my homework and everything I needed to do, trying to watch this, and then I saw an episode, out of order, that revealed who Kane's daughter was. And I was just like, wait, what happened? Why is this so dramatic all of a sudden, guys? What happened? We were just doing a thing with the plant people. What happened? And then I got spoiled, and there's nothing I could do about it, because it's just like they just showing it out of order. It was horrible. It was annoying. And I'm sure without a shadow of a doubt, that turned off people from wanting to watch the show itself. Imagine this. You're trying to watch a cool new show and your friend says it's really great. So you just turn on a random episode and then they're going through the final fight. You have no idea what's happening. I'm not going to tune back in. There's too much lore. There's no way to just pick an episode like there is nowadays via streaming. You're just stuck whatever episode you got and you have to start there. And most people don't want to do that, especially back then. So yeah, it makes sense that people did not want to put in the effort to try to find the right order to watch this. They're just going to watch Pair of Kings. Stupid Pair of Kings. And finally, there was no advertising for this show. I remember seeing a trailer and a promotion for this show at the initial launch of Disney XD. And then after that, nothing. Motor City wasn't even given a fair chance to grow. I'm gonna be bold real fast and make a claim. I don't think it's too controversial. But if this show had popped off 1000%, I truly believe it would have saved Disney XD at least for another couple years. Like, come on now. But no, instead we got multiple seasons of Ultimate Spider-Man, which I hate because Spectacular Spider-Man died for its sins, which is so annoying because Spectacular Spider-Man left on the greatest cliffhanger of all time, and we'll just never know. We'll never know how it plays out, and I'm forever mad about it. And while the circumstances behind Motor City's death did truly suck, fans of the show really never let it fade. They shared clips, created fan art, and kept the show alive through sheer passion. It became a symbol, honestly. A reminder that unique animation has a place, even if networks don't see it. Okay, normally this is the part where I like to talk about merch and video games, but honestly, Motor City didn't last long enough to really get any of those, which I don't understand, honestly. Surprisingly, Motor City doesn't have much merch, if any. A few promo items here and there, but nothing matches energy. And unfortunately, that lack of merch hurt, because merch keeps shows alive long after they're gone. I understand the symbiotic relationship toy sales and views share in relation to interest to the show, but Disney deciding not to partner with Mattel to make Hot Wheels for this show blows my brain. Like, that seems like such an easy crossover. Motor City x Hot Wheels, like, guys, the bag is literally throwing itself in your face and you're saying no for like no reason. Disney just blowing shows and blowing bags. I don't understand it. Motor City, nothing but a bunch of missed opportunities and Disney XD fumbling a $1 billion IP. I may be gassing it a bit, but regardless, a really good show and they just horribly handled it. But on a better note, a brighter note, you might even say, Titmouse didn't stop in Motor City. They wouldn't let that slow them down. They went on to great hits like Big Mouth and Star Trek Lower Decks. While I'm not the biggest fan or even a fan in general of Big Mouth, Star Trek Lower Deck is actually kind of funny. And honestly, if I was a Star Trek fan, I'm sure this would have hit like twice as hard, but I'm not, so I'm not the target audience for the show. Motor City wasn't a failure. It was a stepping stone, an unintentional one, but one regardless. It stands as proof that bold animation can lead to great things. And Big Mouth. Let's keep great things in Big Mouth on separate sentences just for my own mental health. You can't make me put those two sentences, phrases, whatever together. They just don't. They like magnets. They just push apart. It's not supposed to be there. Joking aside, at the end of the day, Disney XD was never built to last. As streaming platforms like Netflix rose, traditional networks became obsolete. While it was only slightly noticeable back then, the way most people have abandoned traditional TV is kinda crazy, myself included. Rest in power, Cartoon Network. Motor City wasn't just a victim of its time, it was actually a casualty of Disney XD's slow decline. I mean, I'm cool with taking shots at the mouse, bring the mouse down a peg, but let's not hurt animation while we do it. Shows like Motor City are rare, and when they disappear, they leave a hole in the industry. I'm still mad at you guys. Not me, I was watching it. But everyone who let Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fail, low-key, you might be my op. I'ma just be honest with you. You kinda like, we got like each other kinda crazy sometimes. Only for the internet to see the final fight, which had crazy animation and amazing jokes, then everybody to gas it. And it's like, oh my gosh, Leo's doing this against Kaiju Shredder. And then they saw the movie, and like, what? This whole show has been like this the entire time? Bring back another season. But no, it was too late. Y'all got on the bandwagon too late. The show was canceled, and then we got the movie, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't Rise. And I'm so mad. Rise was so good, and we'll never get anything like Rise because action cartoons do not last anymore. And it sucks. But currently, there is one action cartoon running right now that could always use your support. And that show I'm talking about is Invincible Fight Girl, a unique show with mad anime inspiration. And I've seen a lot of people not talk about it, or they do talk about it and they talk about the lack of budget. But the thing they're not focusing on is they're making what they have work. It is really interesting. Yeah, they had to cut corners because clearly the budget isn't the strongest, but they make it work. And it's such a unique show and it should be supported, and we should all watch it. Go watch it. It's fun. I promise you. It's anime out the wazoo. There's a couple one-inch punches. It's so good. As I just mentioned, Motor City isn't alone in the early cancellation graveyard. Shows like Rise, Tron Uprising, and Symbiotic Titan. Ooh, that one hurts. These shows all suffered similar fates. And if I'm being completely honest, Symbiotic Titan Season 2 is something that haunts me to this day. I need more, but I know I'll never have it. I feel like Ahab in this stupid whale. No one should feel this way about a show. An incredibly talented team of animators and writers had a story they wanted to tell, and they couldn't. They should have been allowed to tell it, and it's so annoying that that happens so often in the industry. So why now? Why talk about Motor City? I know I've said this multiple times before, but Motor City wasn't just a show. It was a statement. It was a challenge to the status quo. A reminder that animation could be bold, weird, and deeply meaningful. Not just bright colors or silly moments. A cartoon could treat its viewers with respect and give them something worth watching. So here's my takeaway. Motor City might be gone, but it surely isn't forgotten. Its spirit lives on in its fans, its creators, and its message. And if we keep fighting for weird animation, its legacy will only grow. Now go stream Motor City. Wait, it's not on Disney Plus? Where are you supposed to find it then? Yo man, I hate streaming so much right now. Guys, go buy physical media. Don't let them keep all the good stuff for themselves, man. In a vault that Disney will never open again. Let's keep fighting for weird shows that deserve more. Well, that's all for me. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and all the other fun stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Y'all take it easy. Bye.